Hey there, this is going to be another really short video on how to get up into the air in Rocket League. And I know this sounds kind of simple, but I want to show a couple of different methods of getting up into the air that you can use to spice up your freestyle shots. So we're going to go into training first, and as you can see I got a little controller overlay here on the bottom right. The first thing we're going to do is start off with the most basic thing we can physically do, which is just flying. So you're going to start by hitting the jump button. Okay. Tilting back on your joystick like this, just a little bit, until your car is usually facing up, and then finally boosting. And that is the most basic form of aerialing. You can always use this to get up to the ceiling, or, you know, while you're mid-shot, let's say you pop the ball up in the air in some way, you can fly up to it like that, redirect it, and it's pretty simple. You know, more often than not, this is how I, start to go for these kind of hits, of course, while holding air roll instead of just flying, but I think it's important to start with just the bare basics, just so we have something to work off of. Awesome, so we know how to aerial now. The next thing we're going to do is learn how to do a backflip cancel into an aerial. And this is a kind of cool way to get up into the air, especially let's say the ball's on your car like this. We can use a backflip cancel and then start flying out of it. You know, usually the ball would be above you, but I just got a bad flick. And that's pretty simple to do. All you do is a backflip, okay, like you normally do. And then as soon as you're done casting the second A press for the flip, you're going to push forward on your joystick. So backflip, immediately press forward, and it'll do a flip cancel. If you're not pressing completely straight up, your car is going to, lean back a little bit or start to like tilt like that. But if you can get it straight up and down, you get this nice little backflip and you can start flying out of that. And that's another cool kind of interesting way, especially like let's say you're receiving a pass, you can backflip and start flying up into it like this and get a hit. Also, just competitively, let's say you're playing defense and someone's shooting at you, you need to get up, you can just do one of these shots. Now you may ask, why don't you just jump and start flying? That's a really good point. I just think it looks a little bit cooler, but isn't that what freestyling's all about? So the next thing we're going to learn how to do is a sting pop, and this is one of my favorite ways to recover, especially shots, and get back up into the air from if you've fallen off of some part of a freestyle. And you do this by flipping completely upside down like this. So start by getting a high jump by holding down A and flipping all the way upside down using air roll right or air roll left, or all-purpose air roll depending on what your bindings are. I have air roll left bound to right bumper and air roll right bound to left bumper. I don't know why I did it backwards, but you jump, go upside down, and then just like our last shot that we did, instead of doing a backflip, you're going to do a front flip. So front flip like that. Okay. As you can see, you flip all the way over and now you're facing the wrong way. The last step you need to do is cancel that front flip. So instead of going from down to up, like you're canceling backflip, to cancel a front flip, you go from up to down. So up to down, like that. Finally, you put it all together, flip upside down, do a front flip and cancel it, and look, you're facing straight up. This can be really, really useful when recovering from different shots. So let's say I'm falling off the ceiling. I can do one of these front flip pops and go just back up like this. And it'll take a little bit of practice to get the timing down for this, but once you get the hang of it, it feels pretty natural. It's one of my favorite ways to get up back in the air, especially. I just think it looks really cool and doesn't interrupt the flow of your shot, especially. So the last main way I know of trying to continue getting back up in the air, especially, is kind of only helpful if you have unlimited boost. But what you do is you start upside down like this. So your car is upside down on the ground. You get upside down in some way, and you hold down your air roll left button, or air roll right, depending on which one you use. I'm going to be using air roll left for this. As you can see, your car already wants to kind of flip over. What you're then going to do is hold your joystick to the same direction as your air roll. So if you're holding air roll left, you're going to hold it to the left like this. Okay, and you'll see your cars start to spin like this. And finally, last thing you do is going to boost. Okay, and this will automatically flip you back over. But you're going to want to have to control that, and this requires a pretty high level of air roll control to be able to do this. But if you're already to that point, what you can do is hold to the left, hold air roll, okay, and start boosting, start moving up and then down. And that's my best way of getting off to the ground with this. Slowly move up and then down, and that's how you get yourself off the ground from being upside down like that. Again, it's only really practical if you have unlimited boost and you're doing like long creative freestyles or pogos or any kind of pop-ups, or especially if you have a teammate. That's going to be your most beneficial way of doing all of that. But yeah, so those are a couple of ways to get off the ground. The final way I know I'm probably not going to be able to do for a couple of attempts, but it stems off this idea that you can cancel a dash, okay? into kind of a flip. So you're doing like a dash cancel to the side and flying up in the air like this. And this is doable in game, but I found it to be really, really difficult. And I'm not very good at no flip as it is, but I don't really know what to call this, but like it's some form of a dash, and it's a way to get off the ground, especially if you're moving forward and quickly. And again, I'm just not very consistent at it, but if you get to that point, especially with no flipping, when you're trying to implement these kind of techniques in your shots, I think it can be really beneficial, as it's something that not a lot of people I see, do too often. I mean, of course, there's no flippers that can do any tech really pretty consistently, but especially that one is a kind of interesting thing to add into your shots to give them a little bit more style, especially if you're team freestyling. So yeah, I just thought I'd make this video just as a way to show a couple of interesting different methods of trying to get yourself up in the air. And more often than not, I see a lot of people struggling with that kind of creativity phase when trying to get up into the air, and I think these are just a couple of methods of doing that for sure. Yeah, if you have any questions, comment down below, and I hope I can make a couple more tutorials about all this. So yeah, thanks for watching.